My new boss tried to prove that I was a failure and humiliated me in front of everyone, but when the original documents were presented in court, the entire board was forced to answer to me. My new boss tried to prove that I was a failure, questioned my abilities in front of everyone, and spoke as if my years of hard work had no value. But he had no idea that I had the original documents that would one day reveal the entire truth in court, and the same people who thought I was weak would be forced to answer to me. When I look back at that moment today, I don't feel anger. I don't carry any resentment, and I have no desire for revenge. I only feel a quiet understanding that sometimes life takes you through difficult moments so you can discover your own strength. That day happened a long time ago, but some images never disappear. The long conference room table, the silent faces around me, the people avoiding my eyes, and the moment when I realized that some people mistake patience for weakness. I had spent nearly 17 years with that company. When I first joined, the office was small, the team was limited, and everyone was working toward the same goal. I never saw that company as just a job. I made it a part of my life. I remember the nights when the office lights stayed on until morning, when everyone else had gone home and I sat alone solving problems. I remember the days when I sacrificed my personal time to save an important client and protect the company's reputation. But perhaps that is the strangest thing about success. People usually see the final result, not the quiet effort that created it. My life was not only about work. I was a mother, a wife, and an ordinary American woman. I considered Sunday Costco shopping a family tradition. I smiled through Thanksgiving dinners even when I was exhausted inside. I attended PTA meetings trying to be the perfect mom, and sometimes while looking at my 401k and retirement plans, I wondered if we were so focused on protecting the future that we forgot to appreciate the present. But I never stepped away from my responsibilities. My previous boss recognized my abilities, but everything started changing when new leadership arrived. My new boss, James, had a different mindset. He believed experienced employees often became obstacles to change. At first, I gave him time because I knew every new person deserved a chance to prove themselves. But slowly, I realized the problem was not my performance. The problem was that he didn't want to accept my presence. Then that day came. There was a major leadership meeting at the Boston office. Light rain was falling outside. City buildings were visible through the conference room windows. Coffee cups were placed on the table and everyone was looking at their screens. James finished his presentation and looked at me. We need to move away from some of the old ways. I stayed silent. Then he began reviewing my work. He said my approach no longer matched the company's needs, that I was not accepting new ideas, and that perhaps someone else could make decisions faster. I listened to everything. Then he said in front of everyone, maybe we gave too much importance to past experience. The room became silent. I knew this was not just criticism. It was an attempt to make me look weak. Some people lowered their eyes. Others seemed to be waiting for me to defend myself. But I didn't. I simply said, I understand. And I picked up my files and walked out. They thought I had lost. But they didn't know I had something I had been protecting for years. The original documents. Years earlier, when the company started a major expansion project, I was deeply involved in the entire process. I helped prepare contracts, approvals, and internal agreements. During that time, I realized some decisions could create problems in the future, so I carefully preserved the original records, approvals, and communications. It was never meant to hurt anyone. It was simply preparation. Because I understood that sometimes the truth alone is not enough. You need evidence to prove it. A few months later, the company faced a major legal issue. A former business partner claimed that important decisions had been made incorrectly. The board became concerned, investors started asking questions, and suddenly the same people who had questioned my abilities were searching for answers. Then the matter reached court. I was called as well. I sat there calmly. No anger. No fear. Only the truth. When my lawyer presented the original documents, the entire atmosphere changed. Those records proved that many important decisions could not be properly understood without my involvement and knowledge. The board members remained silent. James was silent too. The man who had tried to prove I was a failure just months earlier was now searching for answers to questions he had never considered important. I didn't embarrass anyone. I didn't blame anyone. Because my goal was never to bring someone down. My goal was simply to put the truth back where it belonged. That day I understood something completely. Being quiet does not mean being weak. Sometimes silence is simply waiting for the right moment when the truth can speak for itself. A few months later, I left the company. This time not because someone else decided my future but because I chose my own path. I started a new chapter of my life somewhere my experience was not seen as a burden, but as a strength. When I look back today, I don't feel happy that those people faced difficulties. I feel peace because I never lost my dignity. I learned that the greatest revenge is not making noise. The greatest answer is the preparation that allows the truth to appear when the right moment arrives. Today my life is peaceful. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Because in the end, a person's true strength is revealed when the world makes the mistake of underestimating them, and they still quietly remember who they truly are. Thank you so much for staying with this story until the end. If you enjoyed this journey and found its message inspiring, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more powerful stories. Your support means a lot to us and we truly appreciate you being part of our community.